Hey guys, it's Nina. Happy Saturday. I'm coming to you guys real quick while I'm doing this video. I'm actually in the middle of putting my little press-ons on. I'm going out later. Excuse my appearance. I just finished doing some of my errands. So I kind of want to like kill two birds with one stone. I like to do my press-ons earlier in the day, so you know they're sticking on there by later this evening. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to a Friendsgiving later, so I want to do my little press-ons. I no longer do nail shops. Like since the pandemic, I used to, but I no longer do nail shops, and that's a story within itself. But let's just get into it real quick. I got these little press-on nails from what do you call that? From Shin. They were like $2, $3, something like that. But anyway, to the title of this video, 40, no kids. So I'm not actually 40 yet, but it's knocking on my door. Definitely knocking on my door. And I am a brand new auntie. Yes, I am. One day I may do a video with her. Her name is Tony Rose, and she's the cutest thing ever. And my little sister is now a mom. And yeah, so I felt like it was necessary to do this video because lately I've been asked that so much more. Like, oh, do you want kids? Or, you know, I babysit my niece and people be like, you know, does it give you the urge to want to have a baby? And I have my reasons. And sometimes people think that that's my TV girl. Guys, something wrong with the caption thing. But anyway, sometimes people think people that don't have kids are selfish, but there's multiple reasons why. So briefly, my mom was a single mother. She didn't even want kids, but she ended up in a situation pregnant, you know, with me first. And my father was no good. He had like, I'm gonna say it was eight kids and eight different mamas. And I met him maybe twice in my life. So that says a lot about him. He's actually no longer on this earth, but you know, basically I grew up a fatherless child. So not only did she not want kids, he was not in my life. And she actually took that out on me, you know, but that's, you know, she was definitely a toxic mom, which was terrible. And we grew up in the Bronx, New York, which was like full of poverty. Like we grew up in the Bronx and we did without a lot. Like, you know, we shared we shared a bedroom with my mom. Other people lived in the household, but they really wasn't like as present, you know, helping her with her kids, whatever the case may be. But growing up, I think I was really aware of my surroundings early. Like I would look around, or even when I would sometimes go to my friends' homes and I would see how their moms are with them, or see how they're living, just in general, just their surroundings. I would be like, you know, I'm supposed to have more. Like I'm supposed to be living different, not more per se, like not saying fancy or not saying living wealthy, but you know, just the bare necessities, like the things that children need. And also another parent, like a father. I should have had a father. At the end of the day, my mom chose who she chose to have a child with. So she chose him. So that was always something that I paid attention to. Like, damn, it's not fair that I had to grow up, you know, a fatherless child. Like, she chose him. She chose him, but yet took it out on me throughout the years because I look like him. But that's going to be another story. So, since I paid attention to that, I always said to myself, like, you know what? If I have kids, I got to be married. Like, it's a must. I have to be married. Two, I need to be financially able to take care of them. You know what I mean? Because kids are expensive. So I always said to myself, like, if I'm not financially stable, then why am I bringing kids into this world? Now, to each his own, and this is not to like look down at anybody or nothing like that, but I don't believe in taking care of kids by getting stuff from the system. People fall on hard times, and if you fall on hard times, then that's a different situation. But if that's not your case, and you just having these kids, and you expecting a system to take care of you and your kids, yeah, I don't agree with that. I actually cut a friend off because of that. And you can call me Shallow if you want, but this was a friend that I've had for some time, for years. And she just kept having kids and just kept having kids and kept having kids. And on her fourth go, she was just like, what you waiting for, girl? It's about to be too late for you to even have children. And I just was like, well, I don't want to go to the system for help. Like, I'm taking care of me. I got my own place. You know what I mean? I got a job, but I know that it's tight, to take care of kids, and I wouldn't be able to take care of one on my own. Let's start there. Number two, I wanted to be married. I wanted to have a 2-family home. That doesn't mean your marriage is gonna work out. That doesn't mean the man is always gonna be there. But I want to give my kids a shot at this. Like, I didn't get a shot, So my kids, I wanted them to have a shot. And I think throughout the years, I will take some responsibility for picking some of the wrong men too. That plays a part too. Like, some men, depending where they're coming from or how they were brought up. Like, what I noticed too, like if a man was brought up and he wasn't brought up around any husbands, or his father wasn't married to his mother, they may not look at marriage as something really important to do. And they might, if they came from a 1-parent home as well, then they may not see how serious it is and how imperative it is to be a 2-family home. These men, they have kids and it's always mama's baby, and then you're left with a lot of the slack. I wouldn't even call it a burden, because you're supposed to be taking care of your kids, so it's not a burden, but you're definitely left with a lot of the responsibility and a lot of the slack, which I think is just not fair. Outside of that, you need a village. It does take a village. Like, it's just, my mother only had me and my sister, and I'm just seeing, now that, and my sister's, she's of age. She's of age. What, 36, 37? She's of age, and this is her first and only child. And it does take a village, like, to raise a kid. It does. So I know, although she has me, I'm just the type of individual, if I had a kid, I would want to be like at least a stay-at-home mom for the first 3 years, if possible, or maybe the first year or 2. And my income ain't screaming stay-home mom, Or, I solely wouldn't want to put that on if I was engaged or if I was married. I wouldn't solely want to put that on my husband unless he was truly capable of that. And I don't think I would marry somebody if I didn't trust them to be like, okay, I'm going to cover the household until the child gets a certain age. So I've always wanted to do that, and I've never came across a situation where I was going to be able to be a stay-at-home mom. So that was one of the reasons I just was like, those are the things that I've thought about. It's not like I didn't want to work. I just wanted to be with my only child, because ain't nobody going to take care of your child but you. Take care of your child the way you're going to take care of your child. Yeah, it's you. And I always felt like, all right, I don't have a village. I don't have a support system. And even if I got married and even if I was in a relationship where I trusted, my significant other's family, I just still basically wanted to be hands-on. And part of that could be basically because my mother wasn't hands-on, and I just was like, I'm hands-on every step of the way if I ever decide to have children. So I'm about to be 40. I'm not married. I have been in 3 very long-term relationships. I think that also played a role. 5 years, 7 years, 6 years, like really long-term relationships. Every relationship I kind of been in throughout my life were long-term relationships. But my first love actually passed away. So I've been through some things in life, but I never felt secure to the point where, all right, well, we're not married, so. And that's another, like I said, sometimes you gotta take responsibility. Staying in debt in relationships too long, these long-term relationships, I should have been going in year 2. So that I have learned, in year 2, you can see what type of time they're on. At least going into, I'm not saying they gotta marry you in year 2, but by year 2, y'all should be like in that direction. And on the same page. So, and then I also dated men with children, where I felt like that's another thing. Like, as you get older, if I could tell a young ladies anything, because once I started getting into my 30s, I started giving like men with children more like, I don't know, I guess actually in my late 20s. I started giving men with children like the benefit of the doubt. I started dating men with children, and like, nah, there's still men out here in their late 20s, early 30s with no children. So if you don't have to settle, don't settle. I'm not saying something's wrong with men with children, but I'm gonna say this: you need to understand, when you date somebody with children, you first automatically, you're not number one. You're not a priority. That's that. Their kid is first, and that's understandable because they should be. They brought these children into this world, so that's their responsibility. So that's number one. Number 2, if you always choose to have a family in the future, you need to understand, once again, that child comes first. And that child will always be, and there's nothing wrong, because I wouldn't mind, like I always embraced my ex's children as my own. but they are financially his responsibility. So whatever his income may be, it does play a role in the financial aspect. So if y'all have a kid, you need to also keep that into consideration. There's medical bills. There's, I mean, things that just happen out of nowhere. You know what I mean? So then you may solely become responsible for those things because he has other responsibilities. And there's no order to things, but sometimes people look at it like, all right, well, those children were born first, so those are the children that they have to take care of first, if anything. So those are just the things that you just have to think about when you date a man with children. But I feel like there's still a lot of men out there without children, so and people can't help their situations. That doesn't make them less of a person because they have children. I'm not saying that, not one bit. But you also need to consider the financial factor of it. And for me, I kind of felt like that wasn't a big deal because I always wanted a big family. And I knew, all right, as I got older, I didn't mind dating men with kids because I just was like, all right, well, if we have a kid, now my child has siblings because, I decided to have my kids late in life and I don't plan on having too many, two probably the most, then my child will have siblings. So that's just basically how I looked at it. It's also a gain. It's a bonus. Not only is it a bonus child, it's a bonus sibling for your child. So, yeah, just be leery of that and wasting too much time with these men that know they ain't serious about commitment. That will people only allow your time if you allow them to. People only waste your time if you allow them to waste your time. I truly, truly believe that. So that was also a thing. And then, I was in a certain field for a certain amount of years, but then the pandemic hit. And I decided I wanted to change my field. So that also plays a role into why I just was like, you know what, now is not the time. And like I said, I was not engaged, never married. So that was also like the main thing. But, deciding to change my career, that was like a hold up. Stuff happens. Stuff happens in life. And I know that my kids deserve the world. And going to the system, having the system take care of it. If I end up childless because of that, then I accept that because I don't want to have kids depending on the system. I just choose not to. And yeah, I might be missing out on the biggest blessing in the world, but I owe my kids more. And I know life is not easy. I know things are expensive. I already know this all ahead of time. So when you know these things ahead of time, you have to prevent. It's just so many types of birth control these days. If you know these things ahead of time, prevent it. Prevent pregnancy. Yeah, because first of all, we're not supposed to be having sex to begin with. If you're not married, that's a sin. But, nobody's perfect. We're all humans. We're all imperfect in our own way. We all sin in our own way. So I just feel like there's a way to prevent it. And having a child is a beautiful thing. I would have loved to be a mom of 3. People be surprised when they hear that sometimes because they see that I'm like almost 40 and don't have any kids. Like, really? You would have had 3 kids? Yes, I would have loved to be a mom of 3 children. I would have loved to have because my thing is this: when they get older, them coming to visit their mom and stuff like that, and then the grandkids and stuff like that. Like every year as you get older, I feel like you miss a year. Like for instance, say if I have a kid at 40, right? Which is probably at this point, kids is probably a no-go. But say if I did, right? I could have had this kid at 30. So I automatically this glue was leaking. I automatically took away 10 years from my child's life that we could have had together. That's just, because if I would have had them at 30, they would have already been here. But if I had to choose to have them at 40, that's 10 years already gone. That's just how I look at it. So, I just always wanted to make the right. People say you're always never too ready, but I just always wanted to be a little bit more prepared. And if I choose not, if it just so happens that things don't happen in my way and I'm not blessed with a child, I'm going to take it for what it is because I know I wanted to do things the right way. I also made some wrong decisions, spending too much time with people that weren't really serious about what they wanted to do moving forward when it came to marriage and children. So, ladies, don't waste your time. It don't take that long for these men to figure out if you're the one, or figure out if they want a family with you. Because like my great uncle said, God bless the dead, he said, don't be holding on to somebody else's wife. And that's a real thing. Like, if you know you ain't serious about that woman, let her go. Don't hold on, because somebody else is gonna wipe her up. Somebody else, you know what I mean? Somebody else's trash, somebody else's treasure. That's a true statement. So, but it also, women has to take the responsibility of seeing where things are heading, and if they're not heading where they need to head in a timely manner, to walk away. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be angry or animosity or resentment, none of that, because you putting your foot down. You know what you want, and you're putting your foot down. So yeah, so when people ask me why I'm 40 with no kids, these are the reasons why. I grew up in poverty, and I want more for my children. That's number one. Number two is because I wanted to be married, and I'm not married, so I see no purpose in having kids. Number three, kids are extremely expensive, and I would refuse to take care of my kids on the system. If you have no choice but to, because things happen. I can see if I had like a job and then I got fired, and then I had nowhere else to go but to take care of my kids through the system. That's one thing, but outside of that, I want to give my kids a full shot. Like, their father should be working. I should be working. Yeah, times are hard, but then why have them? Then why have them? Because kids deserve the world. They deserve the world. You hear me? And because I grew up, that's another thing. Because I grew up without a lot, I want my kids to have everything that I didn't have. I want them to be able to have their own room. I want them to have a nursery. I want them to, grow up in a decent neighborhood, a safe environment. So those are the things that I just want to be able to offer my children. And as a single person, I can offer those things for me right now. But as a single person, I don't think I could offer those things for just me and a child. I also was thinking about adoption, considering the way I grew up, which I may still look into it. But I don't know how that works without without like a significant other, or if you're married. I don't know how that works, but I did think about that, because I do still feel like I do have something to offer, especially if they're growing up in a toxic environment. Then they just need someone to love them. In that case, it doesn't matter if it's two parents. It could just be one parent. So I don't know, but at this rate, it's looking like I'm not going to have any children. I do take responsibility in that. I think I probably shouldn't have spent so many years with multiple individuals. I probably should have just moved on faster. But it's life. And if I regret anything, that'll be the only thing I regret. But I will not have children unless I can afford them, and unless I'm married. And my husband is working too. They're never gonna be too ready, even if we're, just making it. It's still risky. So why take the risk? I don't know. But children are a beautiful thing, and if I could have had 3 or 4 by now, I would have. But that's the reason why I don't have children. And I felt the reason to make this video because, like I said, I'm a brand new auntie, and I get this a lot. Like, it's to the point where somebody actually, and then people are insensitive. You don't know if people can have kids. So I think, in that case, people should be careful about the things that they say, because somebody actually asked me if everything's okay. And I'm just like, what? What do you mean? If everything is okay? Like, what? That's rude. Sometimes people can't have children. That's not my case, but some people can't have children. And if you can, really quick, if you can, and you're in your, like, let's say you're in your, because I think it's 36. I spoke to the GYN, and they was telling me it's usually best to freeze your eggs before the age of 36. So if you can, and you need more time due to career reasons or whatever the case may be, everybody's reasons are different. Like, for instance, like I said, I decided to change my career, but that was just as of recent. I wish I would have froze my eggs. I would have, I really wish I would have froze my eggs at 35, 36. Because I actually just went through, like, a breakup at that time. So it probably would have been best for me to freeze my eggs at that time, but I chose not to, and I probably should have. I'm going to put some clear gel, and I'm going to be done with this. But, yeah, I probably should have. That probably would have been my best bet, but I didn't, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. My new career direction that I'm going into. I should be done with that in a couple of years. I would say in 2 years. And you just never know. Maybe this is my time. This is probably what I need to be doing. I don't know. But this new career change will definitely put me in a better financial place. So that's gonna be solely my focus. Yeah, things happen in life. I had to get an early start to life. I was living on my own, age 16, 17, working multiple jobs to just take care of myself. So I had to grow up pretty early. I had to grow up really early, and I just always felt like this is not fair. If I had a child, they wouldn't be doing none of that. Like, I would be taking care of them. Their only responsibility would be going to school and getting really good grades. That's what the focus would be. Straight from high school, I couldn't immediately go straight to college. No, I had to work multiple jobs so I could have a shelter over my head. So yeah, and I've been blessed. I'm gonna say it's been a struggle. Life has been a struggle, but I have been blessed to not have to go to the system. And once again, I'm not looking down on people that's going to the system, because I see people who have families. They seem to be happy and enjoying life pleasures, and that's fine. But for me, per se, I just want more for me. I want more for me. And if I ever ended up in a situation where I needed to go to the system, it's good to know that they're there. That's the purpose of living in the United States. But yeah, because a lot of other countries don't have help. Like, if you need help, they don't have help, but they also don't pay taxes. So I kind of feel like you should have some type of savings if you're not paying taxes. Because, Lord, taxes will rob you. So I don't know if I made all my points. I was in the middle of doing something while I was doing this video. But I'm going to upload it. So this is why I am 40 with no children. Or about to be 40 with no children. And it's okay. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. It doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make something wrong with you because you're 40 with no children. I'd rather be 40 with no children than be a single mom. My child deserves a dad. My child deserves a 2-parent household. My child doesn't. Our child deserves their own room. My child deserves life's pleasures. My child deserves travels with mom. My child deserves the best. And I know what I would want to offer my child. Even when they became in their teenage years, I would love to be able to offer their first car. Like, I had to buy my first car late in life. You know what I mean? And everything I had to find out about life all by myself, literally, without a mom, without a dad, oh, God is good. But God has been my mom and my father thus far and has taken very good care of me, still taking care of me to this day. Don't get me wrong, it's not easy. I'm hustle, but it's not easy. It hasn't been. It's been like a journey, but I'm still here. I'm still going. I'm still breathing, and I'm proud of myself. I don't need the vaccination. I don't need, basically from my no good mother, from my family. It's quick. It's people, and it's so funny to me because family are quick to speak on your life, or, oh, you're struggling, or speaking on what's going on in your life, yet nobody helped. Nobody helped. Nobody gave direction. I had to figure it out all on my own. All on my own. So, yeah, but I'm no longer a victim of that because I'm just taking charge of my life, in charge of me, in charge of what I want for my future. And that's it. So, thank you for watching. And I'll be back with another video very soon. My nails came out okay. I gotta put like what you call that on gel polish. But I got glue everywhere doing this video. But that's it. Bye.